And we're good to go.
All right, so with that, we'll call the November 16th Middleton Tourism Commission meeting to order. So the first thing on the agenda is the meeting minutes as usual. Does anybody have any questions or concerns with those minutes as they were written?
I would move approval. I thought they looked good.
Second,
I can second it. I wasn't at the meeting, so I didn't want to make the motion.
no. All right, all in favor of approval, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody no? Let's say no. Sounds like the minutes pass. Hotel updates. Obviously, Corey's not here, so I'll give the update. We're just getting through a real busy stretch of group here. We have had a few local companies here in Middleton reach out about business travel rates for next year, so that's encouraging. Epic did just sign their contract for next year for XGM and for UGM. XGM, they changed their format somewhat in terms of how they're handling the hotels. Rather than spreading all the rooms out across a ton of hotels, they decided to consolidate their blocks into fewer hotels, which doubled the block for us. So we were one of the ones that were included. So XGM actually got twice as large for us here in Middleton as what it was previously, at least at our hotel. I don't know about NCG or GF hotels as it will be for a few of those hotels shortly. But that's good news. Our new general manager just started. His name is Martin Borowski. So he's just kind of getting his feet settled. He comes from Columbus, Ohio. He's got about 10 properties under his belt, most recently with Marriott as a brand. So he's it's a great addition so far. I'm pretty excited to have him here on property.
Where did he come from, Jim?
Columbus, the Columbus Airport Marriott. So he was at that property for a while. I'm not sure what properties prior to that, but we're his 10th hotel. And he's a young guy too. So, I mean, he's been moving around, but it sounds like he's going to be here for quite some time. So that's
Good.
Any updates at all from staff?
Yep, we do have a couple of things to share with you, and I'm going to turn it over to Laura first to talk about the Big Bundle Up campaign. Laura, it's all yours.
Okay, yeah. So yesterday kicked off the Big Bundle Up campaign for us. You may recall from previous years, this is our 6th year participating. It's Travel Wisconsin's cold winter gear campaign, and we are going to be running ours in Middleton from November 15th to December 17th, so a total of 5 weeks. Our donation locations are the Middleton Public Library, the Kiva Sports Center, and Willie Street Co-op West. So last year, if you remember, it was just gangbusters, and I think there was a lot of factors that probably, we ran it longer last year. I mean, also just with COVID, I think we just had a lot of success from that. So we collected over 1,600 items last year. I'm not anticipating we're gonna hit that number again, but you never know. We'll see. So if you have anything lying around at home, feel free to stop at one of our locations.
So Laura, what kind of outfits are they looking like?
So it's cold weather winter gear. So, I mean, anything from coats, hats, even just warm sweaters, but then scarves, mittens, gloves, anything that's going to keep people warm, and at all ages. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Mari, do you want to jump in with branding update?
Sure, just a quick update from the last time we all talked. We're done with our branding. So everything is now complete, all phases. We have our 30 and 15-second spot commercials in the can waiting to go out next spring. Right now we're working on deliverables. So everything from clothing to stationery to pop-up banners to our updated collateral. And then we're also working on an actual like official virtual launch for Wednesday, January 19th. We'll probably contact the city and ask them to read a declaration on that Tuesday at City Council, naming our new name. And Wednesday will be the official launch. So we're working with Belter and Lincoln, who did our brand and has been hired as our new agency of record to do a short video launch for us. We got the idea from, I think it was Green Bay that launched a brand during COVID and they had to do it virtually. So we're going to do that. And then there'll be some other things and I'm hoping some giveaways and whatnot. It all depends on how much we can actually get shipped to us. We'll be making the orders as soon as possible. We're just not sure when we will receive all of our items right now, as everybody knows. So that's where we are with that. I'd love to give you guys a sneak preview, but we would have to do it in a way that it couldn't be, publicized. So if there's a chance you guys want to meet in person to have a little sneak preview, we can do that. I just don't want to put anything out there because I don't want it to be shared before the launch. So
That's fair. Well, congratulations for getting that all done.
Yeah.
we're excited. And the new visitor guide with a whole new design and with the new branding was sent to the printer on Monday. So we'll actually have that in December, so we can start shipping the new visitor guide January 1 for 2022. There won't be a wait this year. So those, hotels and businesses will be bringing, Laura will be bringing some by.
Cool.
Good. Well, congratulations to you guys for getting that done.
I have to jump in here because Mari has just done an amazing job on leading this project from the RFP process all the way through the execution. And we're just so lucky to have her on the team. Thank you, Mari.
Yeah, Mari, I was
Thank
going
you
to
very
ask,
much.
how do you feel now? The holidays coming up, this project completed, you must feel like the weight of the world off of your shoulders.
I'm taking a week off at Thanksgiving and I'm going to Nebraska and seeing my family. And I am taking my laptop with me in case there is some sort of crisis because we are, still finishing up some launch things and whatever. But yeah, it feels really good. That was part of the plan for having the visitor guide done so early. Normally we're working May through December. And this time it was the end of August until yesterday is when we were finally done. Because I didn't want to keep working on it up through the holidays when the deliverable part of branding is very time consuming, as Laura would be able to tell you, because she's doing a lot of ordering. And so it's just nice to be able to get that one out of the way. But yeah, it feels pretty good. Okay with it.
Excellent.
Just a couple of things. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Just a couple of things from me, Jim. I wanted to let you know that the Belter and Lincoln agreement was approved by both the Finance Committee and the Common Council at their meetings. I guess that was last week, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. And the agency signed off on the agreement on November 5th. So we are now official as far as having a new agency coming on board at the beginning of 2022. And we're working on executing now on our exit strategy from Pilch and Barnett. That's another project that Mari took the lead on, so she's 2 for 2 so far. Trolley ridership report, Laura, if you could bring up that spreadsheet that I sent to you earlier today.
Yes.
I have to tell you guys, I was really kind of surprised when I saw these numbers. They're very close to being on pace with what we did on the weekends in 2019.
Wow.
I know. We were over 2019 in July. We were a bit below pace for August, quite a bit actually. And down a little bit again for September, but then ended up with a bang in the month of October. So if you look at the total in ridership between 2019 and 2021, there's less than 200 rider differential between those 2 years. So I think overall we can say that putting the trolley back in operation, even on a limited basis, was successful this year. We only had one day there when we had no passengers, and I think that was early in October.
And then shot up to 57 the next night. That's incredible.
Yeah. Yes, so that was good news.
You said October 11th? That was a Monday. Oh, no, wrong month. Yeah, Monday.
No,
I'm
that must
sorry,
have been
October 8th. It was October 11th in 2019.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Oh,
Okay.
there, yeah.
My bad.
It's a Friday, so Friday night.
Mhm.
Huh.
Friday the 8th.
Yeah, we had one week there where I think there were 118. They had 118 riders that they had recorded. Or it was over 100.
Do they use a trolley to
It
go
did
to
drop
Badger? Do they use a trolley to go to Badger games? I was leaving the farmer's market and I saw the trolley going, I get my directions mixed up, west, like it just dropped off some at the Badger game. And I thought, wow, that is great advertising. People see that, they'll want to stay in Middleton. And
It was our branded trolley.
it was the branded trolley.
Going all the
And
way
it was at
downtown.
it was at the same time the Badger game was starting. And I thought, well, I wonder
Huh.
if they're doing that. And I just thought that, it was, such great advertising because you get down by the stadium and it was down there.
Yeah, I'll have to ask John about that.
Yeah, I can't remember which game it was, but it was definitely a home game and it was right at the time the game was starting. So
Wow, that's
Well,
interesting.
that's interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have to make
Maybe, and it's possible that, I mean, I know sometimes like bars or restaurants will rent it out to kind of do a ride to the game type program where you can purchase a ticket for like $10 and then it'll get you down to the game and bring you back
Right.
to your car. So I
well,
don't know if it's
Sports Bowl, Middleton Sports Bowl does that. Yeah, I wonder if they rented it out.
maybe.
But it looks so cool, and people would be like clamoring to get on that instead of one of the other buses. I would think so.
Yeah.
Quite interesting. Yeah, I'll pose the question to John, and I have to correct myself. The 118 riders that I saw were in 2019 and not 2021. It was in August. August 17th was actually the date. But even so, 2021, we almost got to 100 on that
Yeah,
day.
you had
So,
97.
yeah. So overall, I think that was an expenditure that was well worth it. And of course, now the trolley is taking a hiatus until March of 2022, which gives us some time to do the rebranding on that vehicle as well. Room tax collections, again, Laura, if you could bring up that spreadsheet real quick. We outperformed what I had forecasted for Q3 by $55,589. So that was a pleasant surprise. Yeah, I know. Q1 and Q2, however, are still significantly under. So at the end of the day, I'm anticipating a shortfall. Right now, I'm going to say it's going to be around $100,000. We've done a pretty good job of managing our expenses this year, and we dialed back quite a few of them at the beginning of the year. So I think based on what I saw today, we're at a break-even point in our reporting in our financial tool. So more to follow next month, but that's pretty optimistic compared to what we were looking at this time last year.
Mhm. Yeah.
Historically, we've done over 300,000 in the fourth quarter. Last year, I think it was 62,000 and some change. And the forecast that I had created at the beginning of the year, I believe it was 214,000. We were estimating for Q4. So I think we're going to be, if not spot on, pretty darn close to that. So recovery is well on its way for us. I was sitting in on a webinar yesterday that was moderated by Adam Sachs, who leads tourism economics. And while everyone is very optimistic about 2022, the indicators are still saying business is going to be slow to come back late 2023, 2024 for a full recovery for them. But I think the good news for us is we're seeing events. The Marriott's got a good event calendar so far. And I think there will be some pop-ups that will be occurring during the year as we start moving through 2022. So I'm feeling much better about what we're seeing in terms of the numbers. And then the last thing I wanted to mention is the city finance committee and the Common Council have the city draft a budget on their agendas tonight. Barring any further discussion, we may have an approved budget by tomorrow, and I will circle back around and let you know. That's it for me, Jim.
Excellent. Looks like moving on to grant applications, Job's Daughters, 2023 Supreme Session. I guess I can start off with this. So it's a large program that we booked a few years back for 2023. These people are coming from essentially all over the country. So they will have travelers from all over the place. I don't remember exactly, and to find out what the total contracted room nights were. Try to take a look at their meals on own. So it's almost 1,950 total room nights. So it's almost 2,000 room nights. They'll be here in Middleton for 8 nights, July 21st, departing on the 29th. And they are on their own for the lion's share of their meals. Yeah, there are a few small Masonic lunches, a few catered breakfasts, but it looks like dinner is on their own. Almost every night except for one night in their pattern. They've got some jurisdictional dinners. So yeah, I would say 80 to 85% of their meals are going to be on their own. So we're going to see a lot of activity back at Greenway Station, and I think in downtown Middleton from it.
Can I ask, and not necessarily about this group, but what are they doing with the green space? What's that called? Over there by the bar and restaurant? Will anything be done and finished by next summer? No? Okay.
It won't be finished by then. It very, very outside chance it could be.
Okay.
They'll be constructing it starting March, I think, at the earliest.
Okay.
I think Abby's target date for completion is August 15th, somewhere around.
It's just too bad with that big of a group with hardly any food events.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry, Jim.
Oh, you're good.
Just a couple of observations from me on this one. I think there are a lot of opportunities here for us to leverage the in-person marketing that Susan had referenced in her marketing plan. They have ambassadors, 2 folks that go around the country promoting this event, and they take materials with them. So I think that's an opportunity for us to get some collateral in their hands to leave at the destinations that they're visiting. Their annual meeting in 2022 is going to be in Detroit. And due to the proximity of that, I think there's an opportunity for us to have a couple of staff present at that meeting to also man an information table and kind of do a pre-event showcase of what we have to offer in Middleton. might be an opportunity to show a video at that event. So those are all things that I'm working with Susan, the event organizer, on fleshing out. And then the other thing she asked me about was a Wisconsin Department of Tourism grant called Meetings Mean Business. I haven't worked with the department on this particular grant. I am familiar with it. And one of the things that it requires is that the DMO match whatever the applicant is asking for in terms of grants. So I made sure that Susan knows that 5,000 is the maximum that we can give her for a Middleton tourism grant, and that I would be asking for an additional 5,000 for the state grant. So there's a potential here of giving this event $10,000 if the state grant goes through.
And Middleton's grant would be the matching portion of that? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, so I'd be asking for 5. I'd be asking for 5 from the state, knowing that we would be matching it with the 5 that we're hopefully approving here tonight.
Do we have any other feedback or questions about the group? I can try and answer. Obviously, Julie's got some information as well.
Nope. So you're just looking for a motion at this point, and whether or
Yeah,
not
I guess
5,000.
There's no other questions or concerns. Obviously, they are seeking 5,000 in grant funding. So yeah, if anybody wants to make a motion to approve 5,000 in grant funding for it.
Julie, can you remind me how much we have in our budget?
Oh, so this is for 2023.
Yep.
Payable in 2023.
Uh-huh.
So it would be contingent upon approval of the 2023 budget in 2022.
I personally think it's a lot of money, but I also think it gives Middleton a huge exposure. And if the downtown can really show its stuff for this group when they come in and fill up with restaurants or fill up with the different groups and parties that they potentially could have, since they have so many open nights, I think the marketing dollars could be worth it, as long as they're promoting our downtown restaurants within those marketing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, what does everybody else feel?
Susan, if this is 2023, the Stonehurst Green should be finished.
That's
It
right,
will be
it's
finished,
done.
yeah.
I was thinking next year already.
Right. Me too.
So that would be kind of cool, even if the city tried to put something together. I'm not saying we should do that as a tourism commission, but
Yeah.
you know, maybe it's something their group could even look at, Jim. Knowing
Yeah.
that that's available. If they have
Absolutely.
district dinners and stuff, I don't know what's going to be available for them out there.
Well, I think there's an opportunity here for us to build dine-arounds for them. We've got plenty of time to work with DMBA on coming up with some sort of incentive to patronize downtown, whether it's a coupon book, something along that line, that we can be having these ambassadors distribute as they're going around the country promoting the event, or to give away at the 2022 event in Detroit, if we decide to send staff there.
What are
Okay,
the
should I-
chances that you send some staff there? How sure you are that you're gonna be in Detroit?
I'm sorry?
Do you know how sure you are that you're gonna travel to Detroit for their annual meeting?
It needs to be determined, I think, based on what we have in 2022. For a budget, we might have to take an educational opportunity off of someone's agenda in order to be able to do it. It would be, at this point, Jose, it's more about would they let us come? So it's something that we're still looking into. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I just think it would be a great opportunity to,
Yeah.
like you say, to tidy it up.
I
like,
do too.
hand out all this material and show what we have to offer before 2023.
Yeah.
I'll move to a motion to approve it if no one has.
A second
Second
on
it.
that?
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor, say aye.
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 All right, the grant for Job's daughters is approved.
I'm assuming, Jose, that includes all the contingencies for a grant that would be awarded in the future, contingent upon the approval of the budget.
2022.
Right.
Okay. Thank you.
Or I didn't recognize you without a hat on.
Got hair under there. All right, we got the next item up is the GMCBB Destination Madison Agreement. Like Julie's probably got some things
Sure,
to
I
say.
will jump in on that one. So the agreement that was in the packet contains all of the changes that we had discussed at the October meeting. And those were all highlighted for you. The only other thing that I think is left outstanding is the question of, can we attend the board meetings, or could we sit on the board as an ex officio member? Ellie needs to really address that with the governance team. I know Maureen Martin from DM is on the phone, and Maureen, if you want to jump in at any point, please feel free. But just a little review that when the MASC merged with Destinations Madison, one of the sections in the contract that we had with MASC gave us a seat on the Sports Commission Board of Directors and then a second at-large seat to sit on that board as well. When the two boards were combined, the governance committee decided to rotate the municipalities that are partners through the board of directors. So I believe I started in 2019. I just came off this year. I believe they're 3-year terms for everybody. And then Fitchburg rotated in behind me. I believe Sun Prairie might be also given an opportunity, and possibly Verona. So there would be several years that would elapse before Middleton would have an opportunity to have that seat again. I mean, to ask them to change their bylaws to accommodate us, I think is a bit of a stretch. But if they would concede to at least letting us attend the board meetings, so we could keep abreast of what's happening, I don't think that's an unreasonable request. So the question before you is, do you want to go ahead and approve the agreement as it's presented today, with the understanding that Ellie and I would continue to work through this other request, and that could either come back as an amendment to the Exhibit A, or it's just an agreement between our two organizations. I'm comfortable personally with going ahead and approving this and just continuing to work through it with Ellie. But obviously, I will convey whatever the sentiment of the group is to DM.
Hey, if I talk, is it too distracting with this music in the background or no? I don't know how loud it's projecting. They just literally started cranking it when I signed in. Good timing.
It'll only
but
be distracting if you get up and start dancing.
I'm not a very good salsa dancer, so that's not going to be very good. But no, I was just going to say, I think I would be in favor of like proceeding. But I think it is probably worth a shot to try to see if we can get like a seat at the table somehow, because it's like, you know, when you start comparing like the amount of volume against us with the other municipalities, it's, you know, I don't know. I just feel like we kind of should maybe. 2 cents.
Yeah, I agree with Corey. I think, you know, I'd be in favor of moving forward with you looking to hopefully execute an addendum to Exhibit A, you know, to get us a seat at that table, whatever that looks like. I agree with Corey. You know, like you said, comparing, you know, Verona might be a little bit different, but when you compare, you know, Sun Prairie or what have you to our contributions, it's not.
Well, I think Madison, I think Middleton, Fitchburg, and Sun Prairie were all pretty comparable.
Okay.
I don't have my notes from last month. I know Fitchburg has the same split that we do. And
Okay.
I believe Verona was also at 16%.
Sure. So as a percentage, it's very close, but as a
Yeah.
dollar amount, it's not, right?
True. Yeah, our room tax collections would be much more substantial, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree with Corey and Jim on this.
I see Kevin nodding his head. Okay. So having said that, do you want to proceed with the approval of what's presented tonight with the contingency that there would be an addition to the addendum? Or do you want me to just go back and we're going to hold on this until we have an answer from DM?
Do you think the optics of that would maybe not look so great since we already kind of went back at them? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
If we went back on them,
Like if we went back and said, you know what, oh, hey, hold on, we want this too. Like one of those types of conversations.
actually, Ellie and I have been having that conversation. So I don't think that that would be a surprise for her. And I know she addressed this with their governance committee in November. They wanted to spend a little more time doing a deeper dive. And I believe they're scheduled to meet sometime in December. So we could delay action on it until December if you want to have me continue the dialogue with her.
I feel like if there's no rush, I think that would be okay as long as you do.
Yeah, I'm just not sure when they're meeting in December. If we have a meeting in December, we would probably be meeting on the same day as the finance and the council would be. I mean, this still has to go through approval of the city attorney. So depending on how quickly DM would be able to respond, it's possible that we're not signing off on this until January or February. Depending on how long.
Does that create problems then too? Like, I guess I would just be curious whatever your recommendation is, because we're gonna sign it regardless. So I guess I mean just whatever you think then. I just didn't know if that maybe give us a little more leverage. Try to get like a seat.
Yeah, I think what I'm hearing from the group is that everyone would like me to pursue either getting a seat on the board, getting a seat as an ex officio on the board, or at the very least being able to attend the board meetings. And in that order, 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Yep, in that order.
Yeah, that works for me.
Okay, so I will circle back around with Ellie and share this with her. As I said, my understanding is the governance committee would be meeting in December. And then hopefully we would be able to come back in time for the December meeting with a revised agreement or with what their response is. Okay. Thank you. And I guess I'll just keep rolling, Jim.
Yeah, that makes sense to me.
I have the next one here. So I am really pleased to report tonight that we were awarded a Wisconsin DMO grant on November 10th in the amount of $388,306, which was the full amount of the request.
Yeah.
Yeah, that takes a little bit of pressure off us. We had to be very specific about what these anticipated expenses were going to be for. So we have a roadmap that we'll be following relative to marketing and promotion expenditures. The great thing about this grant is it also rolls into 2022. So we're able to use a portion of it this year and a portion of it for next year. I think based on some rough calculations that I did today, this should cover the shortfall that we have in 2021 and 2022. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, right now we're at a break-even point in 2021, but I know that there were expenses that were not entered into the financial tool that we use. So I'm estimating right now that we're probably going to run anywhere between $80,000 and $100,000 short of budget in 2021. I think staff's done a remarkable job of trying to control expenses so far this year. And we did have some things that came under budget that we didn't control. But next year, the forecast for the shortfall was 251,902. So like I said, when we combine the 2 years with this grant fund, we should be back to zero and maybe even able to make a contribution back to the reserve fund in 2022.
Awesome.
So that's like the best holiday gift anybody could give us.
Yeah.
Very grateful to the state and very grateful to the federal government for providing this assistance to us and the other 119 DMOs and tourism entities around the state that are going to benefit from this program.
Well, kudos to you guys too for getting that all together. That's just so awesome. I was
Thank
happy
you.
when I saw it.
That's great.
Julie, will you be announcing that to finance and council?
I did not have that on the agenda for tonight, Kathy, because I knew there were so many other things
Right.
that were
Right.
going to be on there. But we'll definitely talk, unless Bill or Mike bring it up, they might.
Okay. Well, you could do the 3-minute comment too, if you wanted,
I
but
could.
it's bigger news than that. So it's bigger than a comment.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure.
I think at the next council meeting, we'll say something about it, maybe expand a little bit of, kind of do a teaser for the branding.
Excellent. Yeah, good idea.
Launch, and we'll kind of roll that all together. But
Excellent.
yeah, staff was pretty excited. Laura and I were having our one-on-one that day, and I believe I was dancing in my little space there. It was pretty exciting.
Great.
So I think that's it, Jim, for everything I have.
Yeah, I don't have anything else either. Anybody else have anything good for the group?
I can give you new business because you guys always curious about trade show updates, and I actually have one if you want to see. That's the NTA travel that I'm at right now as part of our grant, so it's going pretty good. I think I've got like 30 appointments between like today, yesterday, and tomorrow, so it's been really good. Like a lot of interested travelers, and I think they actually just turned the music up a bit more. So sorry.
Are those your speed dating tables there behind you, or?
Yeah, well, so like normally they have it set up divided by pipe and drape, but to save money, they actually ditched that. That was I don't know, it was like a $25,000 savings.
Wow.
They got rid of that, and now they set it up like separate like that. Actually, pretty remarkably, it's not that loud, you know, when you have people that are meeting and stuff like that. So it's not bad.
Good deal. Go get that business.
Yeah, right.
Lovely Cleveland, Ohio.
Nothing. Oh, go to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame while you're there.
There you go.
We actually had an event there already. I really like Cleveland. Like, it was kind of a rough city, well, you know, 15, 20 years ago, but they've done a lot. It's really nice down here now. Kind of like what they've done in Detroit.
Sure.
Cool. Jim, before you adjourn, can we talk a little bit about the December meeting?
Yes, that makes sense.
We would be scheduled to meet on December 21st, which is Christmas week. Would anybody be receptive to pushing that up to December 14th?
Yes.
I'm suggesting we should have a meeting because if the DM agreement is ready again for review, I'd like to try to get in there before the council meeting if we can.
When is the council meeting?
December 21st, unless Kathy, you know of any reason why that would be canceled.
I don't. It has happened before, but we don't know.
I'm okay with it. I have a meeting that starts at 7 o'clock that night. So I would, if we're gonna have our meeting, at least if we can maybe start at 3:30.
I
So
have
I
one that
have-
starts at 5:30, so I would appreciate, yeah.
Same, yeah.
I mean,
I can
right
do
now,
3:30.
the only thing that I know about is the DM agreement. We don't have any grants that I would anticipate coming up for that month. We've already looked at the Simple View agreement, so that's going to the attorney next. I think the DM agreement would be the only thing that we'd have on the agenda.
Do you think we could keep it at 4 and still be done? in
So I
20?
think you could keep it at 4 and we'd probably be finished in less than an hour.
Now, do we know that Destination Madison is going to have time to review and discuss with governance what we need to have discussed by then, or?
I can't say that for sure, Jim. I just know that Ellie mentioned that the governance committee would be meeting again in December. I don't know
Okay.
what the dates are.
All right. Well, if it turns out that they're meeting on the 14th, I mean, we need to shift it. Do we have to have our meeting on Tuesdays? Is that a rule, or could we push it later in the week if they happen to be getting it done?
We're not committed to a Tuesday,
Okay.
and it's what the group has agreed to, but we have met on a different day of the week in the past.
Okay. Yeah, I
You
mean,
want me to, how about if I do this? I'll make a reach out to Ellie and get a sense of where she might be in terms of a timeline. And just come back around with you. If the 14th isn't going to work, we could do a doodle poll. But I'm sensing that people would want to meet the week of December 13th if we could.
Yeah.
Rather than that following week.
Yeah, I have meetings every night that week, so if we can do it, Tuesday's fine with me earlier. But I have something Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night.
Are they
So
all after 7?
one's at 8 and one's at 7.
Okay.
Julie, this is Maureen with Destination Madison. I
Hi,
was
Maureen.
just checking. Hi, I was just checking calendars and believe our governance committee is meeting the week of December 6th. And then we have a board meeting on Monday, the 13th. So the
Okay.
14th should be something that we would be able to regroup on.
Okay.
Cool.
Thanks.
Thank you, Maureen. So at this point, should we land on the 14th at 4 o'clock? And I would just come back to you with a change if need be.
I think that makes sense.
Okay. And then, again, we're trying to ascertain the best way to share some of this new branding and the work that we've done. we can't really do it in a formal meeting, but I think we could have a happy hour somewhere where we're just more socializing than anything else. And, oh, by the way, here's our new visitor guide
I know a place.
That sounds good.
for everybody to share.
I know a place where we could do that.
Sounds
Are
delicious.
you hosting? Are you stepping up to host?
Sure, because we can do it in the green room where we're separated from the rest of the crowd. We can look at it in there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Again, would you like me to send around a doodle poll for a date, or Kevin, do you and I want to talk offline about what your availability is, and
Sure.
then we could go from there?
Yep.
Okay. All right, that sounds good. Thank you, Kevin. All right, so we will note that the next meeting will be December 14th at 4 unless I advise otherwise, and then I'll circle back around on the holiday get together at Capitol Brewery once Kevin and I have some dates.
Beautiful.
Okay.
Well, that'll entertain a motion to adjourn. All right, Corey's ready to rock.
I'm gonna motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all those in favor
Was
say
that
aye.
Kevin? I'm sorry, was that Kevin
was-
on the second?
It was Kevin.
Okay.
Have a nice evening, everyone.
Thanks,
Hey, guys.
everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
I'll call you, Julie.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for coming, Maureen.